Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the new Natasha Denona Zendo palette. I did just pick this up from Sephora and I am so excited to try this out. We're going to be doing swatches, one comparison, and then I'm going to do 3 different looks with this palette. So I haven't even swatched it yet, so that's what we're going to be doing together, and I cannot wait to get this on my eyes. If you are new here, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos, and let's get started. So this is actually my first Natasha Denona midi palette. The only other bigger palette I have is the Safari palette, which is one of the larger palettes, but I got that on like major sale. It was like 50% off or even more than that, plus a discount. I don't remember how much I paid for that, but I'm pretty sure I still paid less than this. These are $65, the mini palettes. So these are the same as the Sunset, I think. I always get them confused. The Sunset or Sunrise, again, I can't remember which one it is. The Love, the Glam, and the Bronze. So those are all the mini palettes, and I don't have any of those. So this is my first one. When this was announced, I knew I had to get it. I talked about this in my wish list or past list video that I did just post on Saturday. So if you have not checked that out for all the other makeup releases, I will put that down below. But I did mention that I already picked this up. So it got here, but I waited to open it so I could share it with you guys. So this is the unicorn it comes in. So let's open this bad boy up. Here is the palette itself. It has a kind of chrome cover. So this is gonna get fingerprints all over it. So keep that in mind. This is gonna get super dirty. And these also have the magnetized shadow, so you can poke right through the hole and pop any of the shadows out if you want to kind of rearrange, which I don't really do that. So here is the palette itself. It's gorgeous. Oh my god, it's just so pretty. So this is the larger palette from the mini Zendo. She normally does the larger palette first and then the mini palette, but this time around she did the mini palette first and then the midi. I think she's done that with maybe 1 or 2 before, but normally she does the larger palette first and then the mini one, but she did it the opposite way around. But the mini one doesn't really look like this at all. I'll try to put up a picture while I'm holding it so you can kind of see it while I'm talking. But this does not remind me of the mini Zendo at all. I was not really interested by the mini Zendo because I think it was a little too similar to the Love and Mini Retro palettes. At least some of the shades, and if you have both of them. I didn't feel like I needed the mini Zendo. But then when this one was announced, it looks totally different. So I don't think this really coincides with the mini one. I don't really know what happened there, but I love this. I love that it's like mostly neutrals, but you have these pops of colors in the corner, and I love wearing teals and greens. So I had to pick this up. So we're going to be doing swatches of this. I'm just gonna go through them really, really quickly. And then I have one palette to compare it to that we will do after that. So let's just swatch all of these first just so I could show you what they look like. And I am going to just be showing you right now because it's just easier. I can just get it all done right now. So here are the swatches. The palette is so pretty. So going from my left to right are all of the shades. So this is the top row. We have Mindful, Luster, Balance, Flow, and Mantra. And then Aura, Vigor, Relief, Equilibrium, and Breath. Those are the second row. And then the third row is Sense, Tranquil, Calm, Yama, and Zeal. So the only ones I had trouble with were Zeal and Vigor, the 2 mattes over here. They were just a little bit more difficult to swatch. They were a little bit more dry. There are, I think, 3 cream to powder shadows. I think it has it on this one. Yeah, okay. I wish they had on the back of the actual palette, but it's only on the box. What is happening with my hair? There are 1, 2, 3, 4 cream to powder. I think that's what that means. I wish I knew what her letters meant. I think CP's cream to powder, M is metallic. What is CM? I think that's a regular matte, I think. So the cream to powder, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Oh, five of them? Interesting. I only felt 3 of them. Mindful, Mantra, which is this gorgeous dark teal or dark green, and then Breath. Those are the cream to powder ones that I could tell when I swatched, but apparently Balance and Calm, which is the peachy one. No, over here. This one on the bottom row. That is also a cream to powder, but I would not have guessed that when I swatched it because they feel a little bit more powdery than the other 3. I've never used the cream to powder formula before because I only have the Safari palette and those are all matte shadows. So I'm really excited to try them out, but keep in mind that I've not used them before. So I did want to do a few comparisons, but let me get this off first. And kind of comparisons, but I only have one palette that did remind me of this palette. Since I don't have any of the Natasha Denona palettes, can't really compare to that, but I have heard if you have a few of her other palettes, then you probably don't need this. At least the bronze palette, because if you cut out the teal shades, it does remind me of the bronze palette, which I don't have, but I know what it looks like. So it does kind of remind me of that. And then if you have the Metropolis palette, you probably don't need this either. So what it did remind me of was the Naked Wild West palette, which I do really like, and I have used it multiple times, but the color story is kind of similar. So when you put them next to each other, you can see that the color stories are similar. They are mostly neutrals with the pops of oranges and then the kind of teals and greens in there. They are not exact, so I think you can get away with both of them. I did receive this from influencers, so I did not pay for this one, but I did buy this one because it's gorgeous. So I'm just going to swatch a couple of them to compare them, but they're not going to be close at all. I'm just kind of doing this for fun. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, the shades themselves are not really close at all, so there's no point on me swatching. Even the dark teals in the palettes, I'm trying to get these close together so you can kind of see them next to each other. Let's hold it this way. So if you see the dark teals, they are different tones. So this one is definitely more blue and the Natasha Denona is more green. And then the blue shimmers in here are probably the closest, but those are still not even close. This one is definitely more of a blue. I think you can get away with having both because they are quite different. And I do really like this palette. I needed the Natasha Denona one. Okay, anyway, let's just stop rambling and get into the palette. So I want to do 3 different looks with this palette. The first 2 looks I'm going to be doing one on each eye, and then the third look we will do on both eyes, and that is what my final look will be. I want to try to use as many shades as possible, but I'm not the best with kind of coming up with ideas for different looks, at least this quickly, so bear with me. I know I want to do a blue-green look, I want to do a kind of reddish-pink look, and then I'll do a neutral look. Let's just go with that. And I've never used her cream to powder formula before, so this will be the first time. So let's zoom you guys in and let's start with the first look. Okay, so like I said, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing, but we're just kind of going to play around with it. So first let's do the blue look because I think that'll be the most fun. So I'm going to take, what do I want to do first? I'm going to take Breath, which is the minty cream to powder shade, and I'm going to kind of tap that into my crease just to add the color and then kind of blend it out and up a little bit. That is pretty pigmented for a mint shade. Gives me bad flashbacks of the e.l.f. mint collection, which that one was not very pigmented at all. It is blending nicely. It is a pretty color. I'm going to add a little bit more of that so I can really get the color into my crease. I'm kind of bringing it up to my brow bone. Okay, I'm gonna use the same brush and I'm going to go into Mantra, which is the dark green, and that's another cream to powder. And I'm going to add that to my outer corner. This is a gorgeous color. And I'm going to bring that up just a bit. Not over, even though I just did that. I want this to kind of just be in the outer corner. These blend so easily. Those blended nice together actually too. But I'm gonna add more of that just to deepen up that corner. It's really pretty. So the mint kind of went away a little bit, so I do want to try and put that back. So I'm going to go in with a smaller brush and kind of just add this back into my crease. Blend it a little into this, but I do want this to be a lot in the inner corner, and then this will kind of just be blended out in the outer edge. And I'm going to take Equilibrium, which is the darker blue, and I'm going to put that kind of right in the middle, blending it into the green. A little bit on the inner corner, but not so much. I'm trying to be precise, but it's not working. So I'm going to keep using this mint to add more of that shade as I add more colors. Definitely more blue than the other shades. The other ones are definitely more green. So then I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm going to use the shade Luster, which is kind of the goldish shade. And I'm going to put that towards the inner corner, just to add some contrast between the greens. And I did not wet this or anything. Maybe I will put more on it with my finger. That's interesting. I think I'm gonna take Equilibrium and put it a little bit more on the outer corner and kind of leave that green just on the outer edge. So I'm gonna go back into the Mantra green shade and put that in the outer edge, but I'm also going to kind of blend that into the crease to use that as the transition between all of these shades and the mint. So I'm kind of just changing it up as I go, which I normally do. And then I'm going to add the Breath shade again and just add more of that mint so that really comes out. And then, this is kind of just for fun to use the shadow, I'm going to go with, I was gonna say go with flow, but kind of go with the flow. I'm going to use that shade and just put that on my lower lash line just so I can see how it applies. And I am going in with a brush, which I know most of these are probably better applied with a finger. Maybe I'll wet this actually. And I'm going to add a luster to the inner corner of my lower lash line to match the top lid. Okay, so I'm going to put on a thin layer of mascara just so you can see what it looks like with mascara, and then that will finish the first look. Okay, so that is look one with a very thin coat of mascara, just so my lashes don't look all powdery in different colors. I do like how it turned out. It's definitely very different, but I was able to use multiple shades in the palette and I still like how it looks. That mint one would probably be so pretty all over the lid as just kind of a one shadow look. That would be gorgeous, with possibly the Mantra, the green shade on the bottom lash line. That would look really cool. But I like this. The Equilibrium shade isn't as metallic as I thought it was going to be, but I still like it. It is different. If you like wearing colors, I think this would still work for you. But that is look one. So look 2 on this eye, we're going to be going more pinky red. So first I'm gonna go with Relief, and that is the pink shade. And I think it says this is a cream to powder, but it does not feel creamy at all. So we will kind of see. Or it might be mislabeled. I remember someone saying that it was mislabeled. But we're going to be like the 2 different signs. It's going to be the earth and water sign, and then this is going to be the air, I guess, and fire sign. And if I remember correctly, this palette is actually meant to kind of represent those signs, which makes sense because you do have the contrast between the really cool side and then the warm side, which I like because I like using both of those. I don't like wearing, well, not mixed together, but I don't like doing all warm looks all the time or all cool looks all the time. So I like that there are options in this palette. So this blends beautifully. And I'm just adding a crap ton of this color just because. So then I'm going to go in with Vigor, which is the red shade, and I'm going to place that on my outer corner and inner corner. That's pretty pigmented. I don't use these shadows much, so I'm going to try and be very careful with it. I always have to kind of remind myself too that I have small eyes, so I can't put too much product everywhere or it's gonna go in the places that I don't want it to go. So this is not a cream to powder shade, but I like how that's applying. I'm just gonna put a little bit more just to kind of bring out the red a little bit. Then I'm going to take Mindful, which is the dark brown cream to powder, and I'm going to put that right on the outer corner and inner corner. And I'm going to kind of blend those together. I'm going to have to add more of the pink anyway. That is a gorgeous brown shade. I'm gonna bring it down just to meet my bottom lash line, because I'm kind of gonna repeat the top and the bottom, so might as well just do that right now. I'm gonna add a little bit more of Vigor just to again bring out the red tone and to kind of mesh these two together. I'm gonna go back into the Relief pink shade and just kind of blend the top to get rid of any harsh lines. I really want to use Yama, but I don't know how that is going to look, so I might use that in the other look. So I'm gonna go with, actually, so then we won't use the peachy shade, I'll figure it out. So first I'm gonna go with Sense, which is kind of the more brownish, bronzy shimmer. I'm going to kind of put that right in the center, but not the exact center. 2 lines, looks weird. And then I'm gonna use Aura, which is the kind of orangey pink, and I'm gonna put that right in the center. And then with a smaller brush, I'm gonna go in with a Luster and put that right directly in the middle. I kind of want this to be like fire, because the other side is like water. I'm kind of going over the shadows, but it's okay. Okay, with my finger, it finally showed up the way I wanted it to. So I'm just going to kind of mix those together and more Sense on the side. And then I'm going to add more of the Vigor shade too, just to get that red tone back in there. I'm going to put Vigor on the lower lash line where it is on the top lash line. And then I'm going to put Luster right on the bottom. So this color has been applying better with a brush, with my finger, but I'm gonna try to do it with a brush and then add a little bit with my finger. So my camera decided to be super difficult, so it is actually like 2 hours later than when I was filming this. But before it decided to cut me off and be difficult, I finished the other eye. I put a light layer of mascara on. So these are both looks. This is my water eye, the blue one, and then this is my fire sign eye, the reds and the pinks and golds. I do like how they turned out, of course, separately, even though this is kind of a fun look with both of them. I think I like this one better, which is interesting because I like wearing these colors more, but I think it was just how everything came together. I like how this one looks better, but it is a couple hours later, so it probably looks a little bit different than what I would have wanted it to right after they were done. But let's get these washed off and then we will do the third and final look on both eyes. Okay, so those two looks are off. Now we're going to do the third look. There was a little residue from the eyeshadow after I took them off, so I did put a layer of MAC Paint Pot so I can just have a blank canvas. So this is going to be the neutral look, or fairly neutral. So first, I want to go in with Calm, which is the other creamed powder, I think, but that is the peachy one, just so I can use that shade, really. We will see. But I'm going to add that all the way at the top of the crease. This is kind of just going to be a slight transition shade just to get some pink in there as well. This is a really pretty color, and this is a cream to powder. I do really like this formula, and I never have used it before, so I am liking it. I feel like the lighting is slightly off because now it is almost 4 p.m. So it's actually been longer than I thought it was after the first time I was filming. So the light might be totally off because this is a terrible time to film with the sun. So sorry about that. I blame my camera. Okay, that shade is gorgeous. It is just the slight hint of color, but I really like that. So I'm gonna keep this brush and then I'm gonna go into Balance, which is the kind of camel shade. And is this a cream to powder? Let's see the box. No, this is a regular matte. So I think these are a little bit more difficult to blend together from what I have seen other people do. So we're going to be very, very light with this. And I already forgot what I was going to do. I had something in mind and now I can't remember. It'll come to me, hopefully. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more because I want to kind of create a gradient in the crease. Then I'm gonna go in with Zeal, which is the dark kind of greenish tone. It's slightly green toned, but I want to put that right in the socket crease. Pretty much right above my eyeball. And that'll be the darkest part of the crease. These just blend so beautifully together. Next, I'm actually going to take Mindful, which is the deep brown cream to powder, and I'm going to put that all over my lid actually. And then I'm going to throw a shimmer on top of it. This is a deep brown, but it's not super, super deep. This is kind of like a clay colored brown, maybe.
but it might look odd against that darker shade in the crease. But we're kind of just using this as a base. I love that formula a lot.
Okay, and then for the fun part, I'm gonna take Yama, just makes me want to say Yamaha, and that is the duochrome. I think there's only one duochrome in here. Oh no, there's two. Aura is another duochrome. So this is the duochrome. Look at how gorgeous that is.
So that I'm just going to kind of place it all over the lid, all over that brown that I put down. I love doing this, putting a really dark matte shade and then a duochrome. I just think it looks really pretty. So I'm gonna go over that again, see if I can get it more intense, which I can. Oh, that is gorgeous. Getting a little bit of fallout. I don't know what that was from, that I just wiped all over my face. I really like that shade. See that duochrome, see that shift? That's so pretty. And then I'm going to actually go back into Mantra, which is the green, and I'm going to put that on my lower lash line just to add some color to this look. And the duochrome has a slight green shift, so it's kind of going to pull them together. And I'm kind of dragging it out a little bit, kind of creating a little bit of a wing on the upper lid.
And then lastly, I'm going to take Breath, which is the mint, and I'm going to put that in my inner corner. So this was supposed to be a neutral look, and it turned into a neutral / green look. I think that's where I want to leave it. I actually really like how that turned out. And it's so simple to use. Like, those shadows are super, super easy. So I'm going to do the other eye to match, and then we will come back and discuss. So that is the final look with mascara and everything. I actually really like how this one turned out. I love that duochrome shade on the lid. I think it looks so pretty. And I do like the mint green on the inner corners. It's a nice little touch there. So this definitely turned out to be less neutral than I thought. It's a little bit more sultry, but you can really get a good everyday look with this palette as well. I think I used every shade but Tranquil, which is the pink shimmery shade, but you can get such an easy look with that. Just use the pink matte shade and then throw Tranquil all over the lid, maybe deepen it up with Vigor or Mindful or Zeal, and you've got an easy pink look right there, and that would be really pretty. The only thing I wish this palette had would be a lighter shade for the inner corner or the brow bone for a highlight shade. So that is really the only thing that this palette doesn't have, in my opinion. But overall, I really enjoyed this palette. I really like the cream to powder shades that I've never used before, and I love that formula a lot. I think they apply beautifully. They're actually pretty easy to blend, but those would be really perfect for all over the lid and even just for a one eyeshadow look, like I mentioned with the mint shade. But even that green shade, the Mantra, and the brown one, like I used today, just all over the lid, that would just look gorgeous. So I will probably do that again soon, but I cannot wait to use this palette more. I'm so happy I bought this palette. Let me know if you guys purchased this palette and what your thoughts are. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you have other Natasha Denona palettes and you feel like you don't need this one because of that or whatnot, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. But that completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.